Hello there everybody, my name is Geardude, here with another Making Titanfall video, where we as a community discuss what we would like to see in Respawn's next entry into the Titanfall series. Last time we discussed pilot weapons, this time we're here to discuss pilot movement. Next time, we'll be discussing the tactical abilities of pilots. So please comment below on this video what you would like to see for the pilot abilities, and I'll read off some comments at the end of that. For pilot movement, this will be a more common focus installment, I guess. I don't know. I don't have much to say. My thoughts are pretty straightforward. The two elements that make Titanfall stand out from any other series is the Titans and the movement. Sure, there's other games that have mechs and 3D movement, but with 3D movement, I don't think anyone has made it work as well as in the Titanfall series, with it being momentum-based, allowing the player to build speed, then maintain it to traverse around the map, plus aim and fire their weapons simultaneously, feels incredible in Titanfall 2. Titanfall 1 was still great. It didn't have the slide mechanic, although there was bunny hopping. The way it was executed was pretty different to Titanfall 2. I do remember people were worried that bunny hopping would be gone in Titanfall 2, but slide hopping effectively, the same thing, became known, and everything was fine in that regard. The wall running is so good that in any other games that have tried to implement the same mechanic, they fell flat for me. Specifically, I'm thinking of Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and I'll just say the game in large, I enjoyed it, but I'm just talking about specifically the wall running stuff, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, I wasn't a fan of that game. But anyways, you could run on walls, but it just felt shoehorned to be a part of a trend of sorts in FPS titles at the time. Destiny being another major FPS title with 3D movement, although that has always been very different from COD or Titanfall. The reason Titanfall's wall running works so well is the momentum-based movement. Your speed is largely maintained when wall running versus moving on the ground. For Titanfall 2, you could go a bit faster once on the ground following jumping off the wall, but for most players, they wouldn't be able to reach those incredible speeds anyways, so it was pretty consistent for the most part, I would say, at least in terms of speed. The first weekend of the alpha tech test in August of 2016, which was effectively a beta if you don't know what that means, they had the wall running speeds and the speed of jumping off reduced by about 10 kilometers, which may not sound like a lot, but it was. As a big fan and player of Titanfall 1, the wall running was noticeably slower in 2, and with it being a large part of movement, in general, the entire game felt sluggish as a result. I'm saying all of this to say that in an ideal world of Titanfall 3, I'm largely a fan of the movement in Titanfall 2. Bringing it over with a few small tweaks would be all I could mainly ask for. One thing that can be a bit janky is getting caught on random rocks or any other objects on the ground while slide hopping. Perhaps if it was a bit more lenient, meaning pilots could glide over things a little easier, that would make things feel better overall. Also, for wall running and sticking to walls, I think that needs to be refined a bit, as to me it doesn't always feel the most consistent. Sometimes you'll stick to a wall at a certain distance, but if the angle is even slightly changed, it'll throw everything off a bit. I don't know, I wish... you know what, I think some of you get what I'm trying to say here. I mean, same with the speed for that point. I don't know, sorry, it is a little messed up. I guess we can expand thoughts down below in the comment section, but with all this said, just more verticality in the maps would also complement the movement of Titanfall 3. The maps of Titanfall 1 did this quite a lot better than Titanfall 2, and while I like the movement of 2 better, 1 had the maps which enhance the movement, if that makes any sense. Also, something else to add that I just thought of while editing this video is that I was never really good at bunny hopping. Like, I thought I had it down, but I never quite did. And with Titanfall 2 slide hopping, it took me until, like, April, I think, maybe March of 2017 to actually get it down, when I eventually just bought paddles for my controllers, because I could never do it before. So it's not like I was some bunny hopping master in Titanfall 1, but I think that does enhance the point of, well, having the maps that do enhance the movement helped me as a player feel better about myself, even though I couldn't do some crazy things that other players were at the time. But anyway, just wanted to mention that. Something that I think is a pretty big point for why some players may not even give the game a try, some people, is that people are intimidated by the movement system, especially if someone interested is looking up gameplay videos on YouTube and they see GameSager ripping around the map, looking backwards while shooting the alternator and getting kills without aiming down sights. It looks like a lot. Once again, if things were slowed down or the mechanics removed, it would no longer be a Titanfall game. But I guess I'm just saying, perhaps if the series were to want to appeal to a larger player base, wall running and slide hopping would have to be toned down. That would be the answer, but then it wouldn't be a Titanfall game. I'm just saying this all because at least I do have some friends of mine who are big gamers in general, but they have mentioned that they are intimidated by the advanced movement. and kind of prevents them from playing. I mean, they'll give it a try, and if they do give the game a play, they'll get frustrated because it does take some time to get the hang of wall running and slide hopping. But with that said, I'll also mention that there are people who do largely play boots on the ground. Shout out to Butterpark Gaming, it is possible. But anyways, I think you all get what I'm saying here. That's pretty much it for my thoughts. Please let me know yours down below in the comments if you didn't on the last video. But with that being said, now I will be reading some comments about this topic from the previous video. Hazman. For movement in TF3, it should reward the player for moving. Kills at fast speeds and punish players in a way for not benefiting with the movement, like having ground AI that are hard to kill at slow speeds because of a lore reason. Virtual Flood. It's difficult to have the conversation about movement without taking the map design into consideration. Personally, I feel the map design should be more vertical and offer more options for chaining different movement techniques together. In Titanfall 2, I feel that most of the maps cater way too much towards slide hopping and horizontal movement, while I feel vertical movement is only available for players using grapple. While I enjoy both grapple and slide hopping, I feel that both of these options are too strong with how TF2's maps are designed. I would also love to see some more interactive map geometry, like moving platforms and walls that offer skill-based routes, rather than skilled movement, relying solely on a bunch of combo or manipulating the grapple's arc. A triple jump, a tactical ability that allows you to change direction of your momentum while in midair, would be great to help new players learn the movement, and give veteran players some advanced options. Ultimately, I think the map design is one area of mobility that I find lacking in TF2. Feel new. Movement similar to TF2, but maps should be more wall-run friendly. In TF2, too many obstacles on walls and buildings, banners, signs, gutter, and hook has more time limit or no limits. Jetpacks jump longer in vertical. I will say with the jetpacks jumping longer in vertical, I wonder how that would work. I mean, at least from our experience with how it has worked in the first two games, I mean, I think it would slow it down if the jump jetpack was longer, the time, like you could jump higher, but maybe not. But anyways, sorry, I'm not trying to interject my thoughts too much into these. Neon Lizard, movement in TF2 was pretty good. I'd like to see something similar, but for advanced mobility to get a bit easier. MC18, movement over camping, make the movement superior to sitting still. Flaunty Celery, movement, that seems to be at the core of high-level play in the Titanfall games. If it's not done right or done well, the game could fall apart. I think the movement system was handled very well in TF2. It was fast, felt fast, accessible to new players, and still had that extra gap for those who really put the time in. Well, interesting to see that opinion. Once again, I do still believe that people are really intimidated. And while I think it is possible to play without doing the advanced stuff, I think it's more of a facade of sorts. People think it's going to be a lot harder than it is. Anyways, back to the comment. I, for one, do not like the movement in the first game. It feels unnatural. It feels like a glitch or an exploit, which I believe the bunny hop is, but I don't like how it feels regardless. Back to the second game, it should feel like that. Smooth, natural, like it's actually programmed into the game intentionally. But please, Respawn, make a tutorial to learn this stuff, instead of waiting for someone to figure it out a couple of weeks after the game's launch. People like the movement, that is what defines Titanfall and makes it stand out. Please just tell us how to do this stuff. And finally, from Corbin Long, I would like to see better consistency in keeping speed while bunny hopping for console and PC, if it is a problem for them too. I feel like on console, it just doesn't keep the high speed. I would like for a few, I do, however, know that yes, it's why stim and grapple are a thing, plus wall running, but others said the obstacles are a problem, and I agree. I did watch over days worth of PC movement and see that they don't have speed consistency issues. He does go on a little bit more to talk about Titans, but this is just focused on the movement, so I'm gonna cut his comment half off there. But yeah, I mean, definitely a good mix of opinions here. It seems to be a big thing that people want to see improved is, well, first off, they largely enjoy Titanfall 2's movement, but yeah, the maps and hitting random objects is certainly something that it can be bothersome in Titanfall 2. I guess all that I'll say is, yeah, I largely like things the way they are. I can see why Respawn would want to tone it down. If they were to, it just wouldn't be a Titanfall game. I don't know, that's really all I can say. Once again, please let me know your thoughts for the next video that I'll be doing in the series. I'll try not to have a long break. Like, I'm having like month-long breaks between these videos. I intended for it to only be a couple weeks at most, ideally maybe once a week. But anyways, next time we'll be talking about tactical pilot abilities, pilot tactical abilities, whatever. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Goodbye.